Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 6th of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at CTM The Bigger Picture.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of a week. All right, great. We saw a strong day yesterday, and we are seeing a strong morning this morning. And at the moment, as I speak, having had a very strong day yesterday, the market is up another 70 in pre-market trading. We are reaching nosebleed levels, not quite the highest we've seen on this chart, but nosebleed levels on the hourly RSI on NQ. The weak sell signal failed. We've got a 60-minute sell signal brewing. These are obviously, and these remain, the two leaders. RTY is doing all right too, though. This has made a new all-time high when this flag played out to target. No current negative divergence on anything, but nice move up. I haven't really got any strong targets to the upside, but I'll have a quick look at that when I'm looking at IWM. YM is the slowest. I am wondering whether it's got the juice to make it back to a new all-time high, but I would still like to see that. We've already got a double top here. It hasn't broken down, and we're coming back up into the rally high because the retest of the retest after the bull flag broke up, and we'll see how that goes. All of these are looking a little extended, but no current negative divergence. In terms of DAX, I was looking for a retest of this high. That bull flag has made target. On ESTX, I was looking for a retest of this high. It's now close to target. In terms of Nikkei, we had a buy signal fixed, and that has now made target. No current negative divergence because this has gone beyond. These are powerful uptrends for today. Now, I want to have a quick look. I just want to talk about the oil market quickly, and I want to talk about the targets I gave in my post a couple of weeks ago on the 20th of April. Now, in terms of the targets I was looking at on the upside, I wasn't really looking for anything on IWM, but what I would say is I do have a potential target here. I hadn't been talking about it much, but I'm planning to do a post today where I'll be talking about that, and I've got this target in about the 290 area at the moment. We could come back and get this, and this would be a rising channel from the April 2025 low. So that is a potential target which is coming into view. In terms of Dia, I'm really only looking for the retest of the all-time high. We're not that far away from it. If we make the targets on the others, there's a decent chance we'll deliver, but we do need Dia to stop underperforming quite as profoundly as it has been the others. SPX, I've got this target here in pretty close to the 7400 area now. That's currently at about the 7390 area. Remember, of course, that SPX is at a lower level than ES is, but that's looking pretty good. If we have a look, well, I'll have a look at the AS chart in a minute. In terms of the Qs here, I've got this trend line target in about the 693, 694 area, and I think we're likely to make that. I don't know whether we're going to make that in a direct run from here, but that's looking pretty good. So I'm liking that. All right, let's have a look at the main bigger picture charts on these. And looking at ES, we saw a high yesterday, which was in the was 73.04.25, and the high on SPX was 72.73.26. So at the moment, SPX is about 30 points behind that. That would suggest that for ES to reach, by the time ES reaches this target, then assuming that happens in the next couple of weeks before OPEX, and we've switched over to the next contract, but that would put the target in about the 74.30, 74.40 area. As I speak, ES is at 73.55. That is no longer a distant target. In terms of the negative divergence, RSI5 sell signal fix, I think this RSI5 sell signal, given that we got up to 93, which is the highest on this chart, is likely to survive. But if we go and make that target, we're probably going to lose the negative divergence on the daily, which I'm not too bothered about. In terms of the hourly, no current divergence. In terms of the 15-minute chart, let's draw it. Hang on. Now, it looks like the main thrust has now started. That means this is the support trend line from the late March low. I'm just going to have a quick look and see how that would look from. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It's a channel. It's a channel. Now, that does not mean that we need to make it to channel resistance. I've got two trend lines here, but this as a nice setup. I would think that at minimum we should reach this here. There are a couple of other minor options, but this is the best one. And this is the one I would favor. I'd be looking for a move up there, and I think by the time we got to yeah, I think that would be in about 7,400 area. That's a match. I'm really liking that. So we shall see. But in terms of the pattern, it going higher, and it looked immature, and we would get a decent pattern out of it. This is what I was talking about. So we shall see how that goes. In terms of the cues, we've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed. We've got a full-size RSI 5 sell signal brewing, and it going up a bit isn't likely to affect that. Again, this high here in the mid-90s was the highest we've got on this chart. It's very, very hard to reach that. So this daily sell signal is just going to continue building until it's ready to turn. We've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed on cues because we on the hourly chart, but it hasn't really delivered anything so far. In terms of the setup here, we do have a nice looking support trend line here. It's not a particularly good match with the trend lines on SPX, which I have to say I'd probably give priority to, but there's more than one option here, and I've got to say this trend line is not as well founded as the one we've got on the on SPX. So it's mainly the SPX one I'll be using, and that wedge resistance trend line that I will be watching. So we will see how that goes. But again, we got every chance of getting a decent pattern out of this. In terms of Dia, we've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fix. That's probably unlikely to fail, particularly as Dia doesn't seem to be going up much. I would really, really, really like to see this go and retest the high here at 503.37 and give us a potential level top setup. In terms of the hourly charts, no current divergence, obviously a potential little level top. So we shall see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at the IWM chart. Okay, IWM, we've been going a bit higher here. I think in terms of the channel I was drawing on that other daily chart, I'm liking that, and I'm thinking we may well reach that channel resistance. We've got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing here. We could lose that divergence if this goes much higher, but I think this is going up at a less breakneck pace than Qs and SPX. Hourly chart, not a lot to see. In terms of the 15-minute chart, this is obviously the support trend line here, and I've got in mind that this might be a trend line here, but I've also got a potential channel option as well. At least I think that is a channel option. Let's just check that. All right, hang on a second. Is that a channel? It is. So we've got a decent channel option there as well. So these are now settling into nice looking potential pattern setups. They just need to go up a little more. Now, how much further is it going to go up? Obviously, I've been chatting to people. They've been talking about, oh well, the market is running away. It's so bullish and etc. But the fact is, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. And actually, with America having given up on Project Freedom after a day, for the time being, they've effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz for another 3 weeks. Every single day, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Reserves of oil ready for use dropped by at least 10 million barrels of oil a day. We are coming towards a big price crunch on oil. Is it possible that we could do that and that the stock market continues going up? Honestly, technically, yes. In practical terms, no. I really don't think so. And actually, even Trump said it himself in a interview yesterday. He was saying, he thought it would be acceptable for the stock market to drop 25% and for oil prices to go up to $300 a barrel. I think oil prices could potentially reach $300 a barrel. So actually, that's one of the more intelligent things I've heard Trump say over the course of this war so far. And if he's prepared to look at a 25% loss, yeah, I'm thinking we could easily see 25% loss on equities. For once, I am in agreement with him on this. The thing is, I don't think that's behind us. I think it's ahead. So we will see how that goes. But we are looking at a major oil shock, and we've not really started it yet. We're still hoovering up reserves above ground. We haven't seen the futures catch up with the prices at the barrel head. We are in a phony war. It gets real. Not in the war sense, because actually the war at this point, I really think, is largely irrelevant. What's important, as I've been saying for weeks, is actually whether the Strait of Hormuz is open or closed. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. It's going to be closed, looks like it, for most of the rest of May. And that is what's important here. That means that whatever highs we make here, I'll be looking for a high setup. I'll be aiming, with any luck, to call that as and when we reach that. And then after that, I'm looking for a very big decline that lasts a while. I think this is going to be an ugly summer on the stock markets and on the oil markets. All right, looking at DAX. Looking as though we're going to be going back in to retest this high at 24.8. We could see a retest of the all-time high from there, set up a nice looking double top. We do have an acceptable looking head and shoulders here already. But actually, if we could get back up and retest the high, that would certainly make for a prettier topping pattern. Nikkei is moving up at the moment. On the futures, it's considerably above this level here. This is a double top at the moment, but it may turn into, if we go up significantly further, then it could turn into a part-formed head and shoulders. We will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX has been going down as oil prices have been going down overnight, and equities have been going up. So we're still getting the same divergence. This leaves me with the impression that we are going to see the dollar sky up as and when the crisis really starts to grip in terms of oil. In the short term, I am wondering whether we might make it down into the double top target in the 96.76 to 96.99 range. In terms of EUR/USD, we may be getting enough life to make the head and shoulder target, IHS target, in the 1.1875 area. GBP/USD doing its thing, retesting the high at the moment, might go a bit higher. USD/JPY, we had a double bottom breakup yesterday, and that has failed straight back into the lows. Do we have the potential double top target in the 154.46 to 140.54.68 area on deck? Yes, I think that is very much on deck now, and there's a pretty good chance we're going to see. I think we're going to see more upside on equities, probably more downside on oil, and more downside on DX. So we shall see. USD CAD. Maybe indulging in bottoming action. We're losing the double top on Australian dollar as it goes higher, but that may actually give me a decent pattern. I'll be looking at this over the next few days. NZ has gone higher as well, but again, that may be giving us a decent pattern. All right, let's have a look at, wait a second. All right, let's have a look at the currencies. Okay. Looking at the US dollar. No current divergence. We are basically on the bigger picture. We are broken up from the double bottom. We are seeing a fairly harsh pullback, and I'm thinking we may well reach the double top target in the 97.1 to 96.7.2 range on the USD daily chart. Don't know if it's going to reach that, but if it does, again, that could give us a decent looking pattern. In terms of USD, short term, no current divergence. GBP/USD, no current divergence. USD/JPY, we've got a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing here, but we could lose that if it goes a bit lower. In terms of USD CAD, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal fix. We shall see. If we see moves up on both USD/JPY and USD CAD, of course, that would mean that the dollar was going up, not down. In terms of Australian dollar, we have no current divergence, and as NZ, no current divergence. Mainly, I'm just looking at the dollar chart here, and that looks short term bullish in my view. All right, ZB, we are seeing a boost on the on bonds here as we see this wave of, I suspect, wholly misplaced optimism take place, but we are heading towards my very nice trend targets. We are going to be setting up some decent patterns. This is what I was expecting, and actually, this is what I wanted. This should deliver a nice, fingers crossed, it should deliver a pretty nice looking short entry, which is the main thing I'm looking for here. In terms of ZB, we have seen a rally here, and I'm wondering about more, and I'll show you why in a minute. On looking at ZN, we are seeing a rally up here. I'm wondering about an ABC and retracement move, and I've got some reason to be wondering about that. Let's have a look at that on the bigger picture chart. Okay, on TNX, this is a possible daily possible RSI 5 sell signal break. This is a lower high here. This is a potential ABC in format. We could see a significant wave up on bonds and down on bond yields while these play out. In terms of TYX, we've actually got a daily RSI 5 sell signal which has fixed. In terms of TLT, hang on, daily charts. TLT, we've got a daily RSI 5 buy signal which has fixed. Now, the last signals I was talking about all made target. I'm thinking these may well too. Don't know if they'll get as far, but in terms of is there a potential for an ABC scenario here? Yes, I think there is. So I'm waiting. I think this is probably going to run further, and we will see how far it gets. Okay, in terms of coil, we had a potential double top set up here. I wasn't expecting much from it, but actually, on the news that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be closed for another 3 weeks, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But obviously Project Freedom has been put on hold. There's not going to be actually any shooting there, but they still basically have closed it for another 3 weeks. And actually, at the moment, we have a contest between Iran and US claiming that I've closed the Strait of Hormuz. No, I've closed the Strait of Hormuz. The whole point is, the economic disaster waiting here is that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. It doesn't matter who's closed it. The main thing is it's not open. But in the short term, oil prices have declined sharply overnight. I suspect this is a buy opportunity which some will be taking, and a double top has broken down with a target in the 95.71 to 96.26 range. I think it may reach that target. I think it's probably going to be a buy when it gets there. I think this is an opportunity for anyone who wants to get into a decent long on oil. We've come down from 115. Looks as though we may make it down to 95. I'm not expecting to see 85, but possibly. CL, we have seen a sharp move down as well. No obvious level there where we are heading to. This kind of looked like a bull flag, but obviously has turned out not to be. HO, we're seeing a bit of a decline. RBOB, we're seeing a bit of a decline. So I'm not taking these particularly seriously, and I'm not thinking these will last particularly long. In terms of oil prices generally, the key thing is that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. This is what's going to cause real trouble in the market. We shall see. I'm slightly wary about taking larger patterns too seriously on Brent. For instance, we have here on Brent a potential large double top here. Do I think this uptrend is over? Hell no. Not even close. I would be astonished if it was. But we've got a daily RSI 5 sell signal here, which fixed and made target quickly since Sunday. But you will note that actually it's made target. RSI 14 sell signal, I'm not taking particularly seriously. I really don't think the highs are in on oil. And if the Strait of Hormuz was opened in 3 weeks, because it appears there's currently no chance of it being open tomorrow, then I think it would take months to sort all this out. And during that time, we'd be likely to see a very large spike in oil prices. So this crisis is not over. It's actually just getting started. We shall see how this goes. We've got a bit of negative divergence on the RSI 14 on the weekly, but I'm not taking this particularly seriously. The main target I'm looking at is the upside target here. With the flag target is a retest of 134.91. I am pretty confidently expecting to make that target. We shall see how that goes. In terms of WTech, we have a bullish, looks like a bullish consolidation here, a large bull flag forming, and I think that probably is accurate. So we are seeing a bit of a pullback here. I think I think a lot of the longs are going to reload, especially the ones which read a lot of the industry paperwork. In terms of the flag here, we've almost made the target at 126.42 at the highs, but I've got an extension target up at the all-time high at 147.27. I'm also expecting that to be made. Heating oil has no targets to the upside. We had a double bottom, it made that target. We had a flag target at 4.47, it made that target too. So not expecting to see. Well, we could. This can easily go higher, but it's just going to be making the all-time highs, and we'll be in clear blue sky. In terms of the daily chart, not a huge amount happening. Looks like a bullish consolidation. Well, this is likely to be a bullish consolidation, in my view. In terms of gas oil, we made the double bottom target. We have not made the flag target. That's at 412. We've been making progress towards it. We've seen a bit of a pullback yesterday. But I'm not expecting that to last terribly long. I think this is considerably higher to go. I was talking in my post last week about gas prices peaking in the $6 to $9 area for US people filling up their cars, and I'm standing by that. I still think that's likely to be the case. Natural gas we're looking at some weakness here. I'm wondering if we're going to just backtest the daily middle band or find support there and continue upwards, but I think we might just fail. We are failing so far at the that's the 50 DMA at 286, but we've got a fair amount of action happening here, and we've also got the 200 DMA at 338. I was thinking we might rally as far as that, but it may be the 50s as far as we're going to go. That's been actually pretty good resistance here. We broke above it very briefly here for a day or two. We held it as resistance there. We may be holding it as resistance here now. Natural gas has not so far been affected really at all by the war. All right. Liquefied natural gas has, but natural gas itself has not. All right, looking at gold. Equities are going up, oil's going down, gold's going up. That's not actually the correlation I was hoping to see. We will see how this develops. But at the moment, it's going up with it. I would quite like this to go up when oil starts really skying up. I would like gold to go up with it. We're not seeing much sign of that so far. Nice little rally on SI as well. Palladium, nice little rally. All of these back over their monthly pivots. Platinum the same. And HG actually is very close, or actually, let's actually just test that, shall we? What it's done is it made the little level top target, and it has returned to the prior high. Now this gives us a potential larger double top, of course, but at the moment I'm not seeing much sign that equities are running out of juice, and I think the logic suggests that equities are going to go significantly higher. So I'm thinking that we may well see the same on copper. All right, let's have a look at the metals and gold. Gold, overall, we've got this very nice looking bull flag, and I'm expecting in due course to see this bull flag break up and retest the all-time high at 56.0835. How we get there? Well, we shall see. We're testing the daily middle band as resistance at the moment, and looking at the overnight charts, we're up 140, so it looks as though we're going to be breaking that. And that will probably get us over the 50 DMA as well. So we shall see how that goes. I'm liking the upside here since Sunday. We've got an RSI 5 buy signal which is fixed here, and that hasn't made target yet. Do we have the same on silver? We do not, but we're seeing a nice little rally anyway. We're back over the daily middle band. I'm thinking we may well be heading up into the upper band area, which is currently at 81.06. We shall see. All right, looking at palladium. Palladium, no current divergence, seeing a bit of a rally. Platinum, no current divergence, seeing a bit of a rally. These, I think, are likely to make us all make higher targets soon, but not necessarily at the moment. In terms of the copper chart, not really much in terms of divergence. I think we're about to see whether we're going to do something I was talking about, which is I've got targets to the upside on equities. I've also got one on copper. I'd quite like to see this high at 6.583 retested, and I'm thinking we might be heading off to do that. I would like to see that. That would set up a potential very nice looking double top, and I'm thinking that if we're going to see some real trouble in the stock market over the summer, which I think is very, very very likely actually, and real trouble in oil, then I'm thinking we might see copper crater. So we shall see. A nice looking level top would help that along and define the targets. In terms of GDX, we made the weekly sell signal target. We made the daily sell signal target. We've now got a possible daily RSI 5 buy signal brewing. And on the hourly chart, this is a possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing. This is the signal for the rally that we are currently seeing. In terms of GDXJ, again, the weekly RSI 5 sell signal made target, the daily RSI 5 sell signal made target. We've got a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing here, and we had the same on the hourly RSI 14. So this is all signaling the rally we're about to see. My suspicion is that's going to be more than today, but then that fits with what I'm thinking on the market generally as well. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. In terms of KC, this looks like an overall bearish flag or triangle forming. In terms of SB, we saw a nice looking IHS. This broke up hard, and at the moment it's rejecting back into the test of the multi-pivot. Waiting to see how that delivers. We had a sell signal which was brewing, and then basically it's suddenly head off and pretty much made the target. In terms of CC, we had a lovely bear flag channel here, and that broke up, and that makes me sad, but you know, it happens. We've got a possible 6-minute sell signal brewing here. That hasn't fixed yet. In terms of CT, could this be an overthrow on the flag? No, bear flag channel, don't overthrow. CT, we've got a potential little level top here. We've got negative divergence on the daily chart, which I'll be talking about on the daily chart. So and we've got a 6-minute sell signal fixed. It does look as though we might see a sharp retracement on the grains, amazingly, which would be potentially give us some very nice long entries there. I'm going to be putting something together on that in terms of option trades. So if I manage to do that, look out for that. But I'm thinking that if a bit of a pullback here on grains and cotton would be a good thing. Lumber, wondering if the downtrend is going to resume. We had this spike down, spike up, but since then it's just been pretty stable. Wheat, we're seeing a sharp retracement. Corn, we're seeing a sharp retracement. Soy, we're seeing a sharp retracement, not as sharp as the others. ZL, a bit of a retracement. This has actually been holding up better. I'll talk more about all of these on the daily charts. Live cattle, we've seen a bit of a pullback here. We're still on a 60-minute sell signal. I'm wondering about an ABC retrace, maybe get down to the 246.25 area. And HE, we got a potential double top here. Sorry, double bottom here. And I would like to see this deliver and take us back in due course, back up to a retest this high here at 111.975. Okay, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And coffee. We've got an IHS which broke up here, but that has, I think, failed. It has. And I think this is just a bear flag or triangle forming. So that fits with what we're seeing on the hourly chart. In terms of sugar, we're seeing a sharp retrace here. Did we have a sell signal brewing? No, we'd lost it by the time it turned back down. Could just be resuming the downtrend here. On the bigger picture, of course, I do mention every so often that we've got a target, a head and shoulder target in the 9.05 area, and we would need to go up a huge amount, 50% or something, to actually invalidate that target. So I'm always keeping an eye on that. It could be that the rally we're seeing on sugar is failing here. And I would note that what did we see here? We saw a test of resistance here. That wedge hasn't yet broken up. We could see another test, potentially a wedge support, so we could be seeing a significant reverse here. In terms of cocoa, we're seeing a nice little rally here at the moment. No current negative divergence. I'm still wondering about a low retest that could give us a possible RSI 5 buy signal. On the weekly chart, on the daily chart, we had an RSI 14, a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and that has now made target. And we're beyond the declining resistance. This could be the start of a larger rally. In terms of cotton, double bottoms broken up with a target in the 88.64 to 89.13 area. I'm expecting that to make target. We've seen a lot of disruption with straight formulas of helium, of natural gas, and of course of urea, which is a major feedstock for fertilizers. And I'm expecting this to have a big impact on grain prices in the next few months. So if we see a pullback here, it's a reload for likely higher. In terms of the daily chart, we did have RSI 14 and RSI 5 sell signals brewing. They've now fixed. I'm expecting to see some more downside. In terms of lumber, bigger picture, we got a bear flag looking for a retest of 35250. And we got a double top that's broken down, looking for a test of 35250. Now that broke down about 7 months ago. And since then, we've just been lost in space and trading sideways. But I think in due course, we are going to be heading down towards that target. When that happens, hard to say. But I think if we start seeing big declines on the stock market, then it's probably going to be going along with that. In terms of the weekly chart on wheat, we've broken up from the double bottom with a target in the 739-742 area. It looks like we're going to do a sharp retrace, and I would like to see that then head off and make that target. No current divergence really on, well, you got a weak RSI 14 sell signal face, but we are seeing a sharp retrace here. I'm thinking this is going to bottom out and then deliver that target. Corn, the target would be on a breakup. On a breakup over this resistance in the 504 area, the target would be in the 624 to 640.5 area. We're seeing a bit of a pullback. I'm thinking that's got a good chance of making that target in due course. RSI 5 sell signal reached the possible near miss target. Corn. On soybeans, we've got an IHS here. Sustained breakup, looks for a target in the 1560 area. Nothing really to see on the daily chart. But all of those grains, I'm thinking, may pull back here, but they're likely to go back up afterwards. Okay, let's have a look at crypto quickly. And crypto, is this still a bear flag? Well, I was saying to someone was asking me how high I thought Bitcoin could go the other day, and I said that the 200 DMA was at 8,300, and that was, I was thinking, about as far as I would like to see it go, because any higher than that, any sustained break over the 200 DMA, and I'd be thinking this might not be a bear flag. We are basically getting up into the visual test area for that. Not quite reached it actually. We got up to 88,814, but this is the area where I'm thinking that could get tested. That is the key resistance area here that I am watching. In terms of the flag, it is not aging like a fine wine here. I'm assuming this is a bearish overthrow, but if it is, I don't want to see it go an awful lot higher. I don't want to see, I particularly don't want to see get over this big resistance area, sort of 83 to 86. Any more than that, and I'd be thinking this might not be a flag anymore. In terms of Bitcoin, on the 15-minute chart, we are seeing where this goes. I may get a shorter term pattern here. I'll be looking around for potential options. In terms of Solana, seeing a bit more of a rally here. Still well below the weekly middle band at 97.22. In terms of the daily chart, we've got a bit of a move up here over the 100 DMA, which I don't see as particularly important resistance actually. But we are now getting to the stage where we could set up an RSI 5 sell signal at the next high. We're at that stage also on Bitcoin and Ethereum, so I'll be watching out for that. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence. We are moving up slightly beyond where I was expecting this to hold in terms of the rough triangle resistance. So watching this with interest. We shall see where this goes. Could it be that we'll test this? The IHS will make the target of 97.66. Still skeptical, but possibly. The IHS never failed. It needed to get below 81.31 and missed that by 8 ticks. So possibly, we shall see. I'm surprised to see it as high as it is right now, I've got to say. In terms of Ethereum, we've got a slight break over the weekly middle band at the moment. So we'll see whether that lasts into the end of the week. In terms of the flag here, I was wondering about seeing a retest of the high here, which is at 24.66.49. We've not quite reached that. If we did, we could set up a very nice looking double top. And I got to say, that's kind of the obvious next target would be that retest. So I'm thinking that may go higher. We shall see. So, all right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys again on Sunday. Cheers.